Right, I'm going to try it and see how bad it is. Hello. Maybe you can hear me. On the other hand, maybe not. So, hello, good evening, welcome. I'm going to need to see the chat, aren't I, to see if anybody's there. Oh, not good so far, I'm afraid. It's telling me we've got a dodgy feed, which isn't right. It's saying stream status bad. Primary stream not receiving video at a data rate fast enough, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm going to say hello in the chat. Good evening, Graham. I'm assuming you can hear me. Woohoo! We're winning. We're winning. Now it says stream status good. It's seeing Graham and it's happy again now. Oh no, Mike's singing. We absolutely don't need that. Okay, anyway. If anybody else is in the chat, let us know. Let us know. I should really put it out on Facebook, but Twitter, etc. I'm sure you're dealing with it, aren't you? Mike, you're dealing with it, aren't you?
Dealing with what?
Tweeting it out like there we go. Right, I'll retweet it and then we're good to go. Hello, Jane! Yay, Jane's here. Unfortunately, Carrie, brace yourselves, had a previous engagement. Dancing? No, please don't, Mike. I'm talking. Carrie's gone dancing rather than be with us. Can't understand it myself.
Shall I dance?
So far you've sung and you've danced.
Yeah.
And we've not even got going yet.
And I've not even had a glass of wine.
You've not had a glass of wine?
No.
Do you want a glass of wine?
No.
Oh. Fair enough.
No. I've got Islands in the Stream for the stream.
Okay.
I've got Baby Jane for Jane.
Oh!
And I've got, what did you just mention? Oh, Carrie, dancing.
Dancing. Yeah. Carrie. Dancing Queen!
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Terry. Happy Christmas to you. Right, well, you should be seeing an after hours poster. You'll be seeing my desk with something rather spectacular on it shortly.
Carrie's gone Greek dancing, Jane. She put it on Twitter this morning.
She did. She was most annoyed that she couldn't manage it tonight.
Well, she can watch the recording.
She can, but it's not the same.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's not. Jane watched the recording last week.
She did.
She was tempted to buy something, though. Graham, you would have been proud. Right, I'm going to move that out of the way so you can move your toy in. It's 9 o'clock.
No, not
now.
the Gumbe dance. There's an idea.
There you go. That's better than Dancing Queen.
I'll sing that.
Right, so I need to turn this on, don't I?
Oh, Chico's
barking. Right, and I need to... Yes, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm lying to myself. If I want that to work, I'm going to have to... This is not easy. You know, I wish you could see this.
We're organised, really.
No, I need to broadcast it, don't I? I need to... the bit that's behind the thing.
She's got her iPhone here, half covered up with, what do you call it? A handle thing.
A selfie stick.
A selfie stick.
But in my defence, I'm not using it as a selfie stick. That's... No, I need it that way around, don't I? Or do I?
Are you broadcasting them?
No, it's that way. No, it's not. It's that way.
Come on, woman.
Oh, this is fantastic. Now I need the app.
If only they could see what we were doing.
Yes, but if they could see... Ah!
There we go.
Oh, no. Look. It's backwards. Hang on. We'll get this right and then we'll get it broadcast to you. That's it. Fantastic. Why is that so tiny in the middle of that screen?
I don't know.
I think I took it full screen last time. But this time I'm going to be savvy. I wonder if it'll control an F. Right, so we want questions from you. What do you want to see? Apart from Mike's sexy toy. Who's heard the show? Let's start from that.
What show they're saying?
What show?
What show?
What do you mean, what show?
What show? Is there a show?
There's been a show. Who's heard today's show?
I did.
I know you did. You heard it early doors.
I did.
Is anybody going to admit they've actually not heard the show?
Is anyone still there?
Of course they're still there. Right, I'm going to get that screen shared so they can at least see the desk.
Graham's listening at lunchtime.
Hey!
Good on you, Graham.
What on earth? That's not updated.
Oh.
Oh. Gotta love this, haven't you? Jane's saving it for tomorrow. In that case, Jane, you're going to need to sit down. Terry, I will tell you what we're about to talk about. Something that Mike bought. Now you see, Terry's okay because Terry's heard it. So what on earth is wrong with this? And more importantly, how am I going to fix it? That one's right, that one's not right, and that one's right. And if I stop the broadcast, I'm knackered. But that's not right. It's not even the right size.
It's not.
So how on earth do I get it the right size?
Can't you just resize it?
It's resized. It's scaled.
Can't you resize it back?
What's that?
Let's see what happens.
Oh, what's that? That's new. Oh, technical trouble. We love it. We love it.
Well, you are using a new version of Wirecast.
I am.
That you've
I
never
can
seen
see you,
before.
but you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's do a preview.
No point with waving.
iMac. Tell you what I'll do, I'll add a new one.
There you go. I'll show off my new Apple Watch strap.
No one can see it, so I don't know why you're getting giddy. I need a new screen because things aren't working properly. Screen capture.
Graham wouldn't mind what I've bought.
That's all right then. Let's get it on the desk and let's show it to them. New screen capture is what I want. So I'm going to add a new one of those. Now it's working. God, the technology. Right.
Right, you're broadcasting.
Yes, and any second now they're going to see my desk.
Yes, and you can see my new watch strap.
Oh yes, your new watch strap. There we go. Let's see. Let's start with your new watch strap. First item to be seen.
Why aren't we seeing it on there?
Give it time. Slightly behind. Right, Mike's new watch strap's the first item we're going to be looking at.
It's coming through now.
There we go. It's a Milanese loop. It was the princely sum of $9.99, but indistinguishable from the Apple one. So let me try and get to the side so you can actually see that. Hold it steady. Just show you how good that is at the edges. It totally fits. Absolutely perfect. Right.
Should we see how few stats I've done today?
Look at that. Are we going to have a look at your stats? You're going to have to do some serious walking.
That's not very good today, is it?
No, it's not. Good evening, Kevin. Fantastic. So now you've got vision. Brilliant. Right. Get that on the... Shall we see the back? Let's see the back first. Put it on down there. For those who haven't heard the show, you might want to sit down. This is Mike's new toy. Let's see the top of it. That side. There's Mike's new toy. This here is my iPad 11-inch. This is Mike's new toy. Flip it over, Mike.
Dun, dun, dun. It's got 4 little squares at the
What's that?
4 little squares.
You know what that means?
What?
The dark side.
The dark side.
Junker, now hang on. The best feature on that's on the back. So show us the feature on the back.
What?
Kickstand.
Oh, there's a kickstand.
Yes. For those who don't know, that is a Microsoft Surface. Oh, look at that. And that's the kickstand. So, let's see it there. No, where you were. There you go. Kickstand.
Oh, yes, Jane.
All my power ports. Ooh. No, Jane is saying no, not ooh.
Yes.
There's an N at the beginning of that. That's frightened everybody, hasn't it?
There we go.
Right, let's get that on there. Keyboard. Oh, look at him. There we go. So that is what they call... Oh, there's a pencil.
There's a pencil.
Pen. Right, that is smaller than an Apple Pencil. So while he's logging in, I will show you there. That is my Apple Pencil. And that is Mike's Surface Pen. Scary. Terry, no, it's not locked up yet. Locked up. Not yet. So you can see it's slightly smaller, that pen. It's got a proper sort of nib on it as well, whereas the Apple one's all one piece. It's kind of bouncy too when it's off the screen, whereas the Apple one isn't.
It's behaved perfectly.
It has. It's behaved impeccably.
It works very, very well.
There you go. Oh. So if you haven't heard the show, you're going to take them through the specs.
Yeah.
It's a Surface Pro. It's the brand new model.
Oh, are you doing it?
You're not talking to the microphone.
Right.
But if you were, that would help.
Right. Yeah. Surface Pro, brand new model, 16 gig of RAM, which is the maximum that it'll take. i7, 512 gig hard drive. You can get it in 256, 512, and 1 terabyte, but I couldn't find a 1 terabyte one, but I think 512 is enough. And I got it about 2 weeks ago.
Terry's telling you to get your own show. Do you know, it's funny you should say that. We'll just leave that thought there. And poor Kevin's fainted.
Never mind.
No, you need to reiterate your rationale for buying a Surface. What can I say?
They could just listen to the show. No, as I said on the show, and I know some of you haven't heard it, a lot of the work that I do is in Windows. And although I have got a VM, which is lightning fast because I've got it on my 27-inch iMac, which has got 64 gig of RAM, I decided I needed something portable. So I looked around. I did actually consider a MacBook or a MacBook Pro, but when you take the amount of memory that's got and then you give half of it to Windows, it still doesn't leave enough. So I decided to go the whole way and buy a Surface Pro.
So this was instead of me spending an absolute fortune on mine, which was the 11-inch iPad.
No, it was as well as.
Well, it was as well as, obviously,
Yes.
in the household. But, you didn't buy an iPad as well. You bought that instead. So just so you've got an idea, let me grab that. That is the 11-inch iPad. So size-wise, it is a bit bigger. There you go. So from the side, it's not, though, is it? Turn it round a bit. There we go. Let's put that next to it. And to do a comparison there. You'll notice, of course, look at all those lovely ports. Ooh.
Not enough.
More than I've got. I've got one. But depth-wise, it's not, is it?
No, it's very similar.
It's very, very, very similar. Now, lengthways, let's try that there. Try and get that at the far end.
2 inches longer.
It is actually considerably longer, isn't it? There you go. So that much longer. What's it like weight-wise by comparison? And you've got the cover on it. And I've only got that thin cover on it.
It's a bit heavier. It's not that heavier. It is fairly lightweight.
Now, what I thought was interesting was this, which is fabric. Look, it's collecting every bit of dirt and dust.
And hair.
And hair. Not the thing to have when there's a Samoyed in the house, is there?
What I will do is take the keyboard off. So the keyboard just detaches like that.
Magnetically.
And then it actually twists itself into portrait mode. And then you can use it as a notebook.
Can you show that thing? Does it work? You know when you split the screen, you've got two apps and it splits it horizontally and vertically, because I would love that on an iPad.
Never tried. What? So I'll just run two browsers.
Oh, well, two whatevers. And then you can split the screen. Is that right?
Do you know how?
Not a clue.
No, me neither.
Oh,
So I go Google it.
Yes. Well, when you finish showing this thing, what I saw was on an iPad. If we use this keyboard here, when you split the screen, you split the screen that way. So you've got one app over here, one app over there. But with this one, you can split it and have one at the top and one at the bottom. Oh, he might be getting there. You never know.
No, this is the multiple desktop thing.
Oh, multiple desktops as well. Fabulous. There we go. Look at all that lot. So actually, that's the same as a Mac, isn't it? We're using this as a prototype. Terry, don't panic. What I'm thinking is I'll look at this and I'll end up with a shopping list of stuff to give Apple that I want on the next iPad. So that's how I'm approaching the whole thing.
Just twist itself around then.
Well, it would. Yeah. But
it's all in the, what do we say? The wrist action.
Yes, your sensitive wrist action. Mike and his sensitive wrist action. Terry's got a fantastic suggestion. Are you going to try and run OS 10 on it?
No.
Oh, come on. I remember talking about when I trained iBooks Author, I remember mentioning to the Windows users that there was an app. Was it from Oracle? Terry might know. If you do, help me out. But basically, it's Fusion, but for Windows, to let you run a Mac OS. He's interested now. Now he's interested. He's having trouble with this, aren't you?
I'm sorted. Have I turned it off? No.
It's back. There you go.
It's back.
Now, tell them what it's got that my iPad's got.
What's it got that your iPad?
I thought it had face recognition of some description.
I've not set that up.
Oh, so we can't show them that? You swine.
We'll save that till next week.
What's it called?
Maybe by next week. Windows Hello.
Windows
maybe
Hello.
By next week I'll have learned how to split the screen.
That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Because I really fancied that. That was the bit that I thought was particularly good.
Or I'll go and Google it.
So, I'll keep talking. There you go. So there you have it. Big shock of the week. Sorry about that, Kevin. Should probably have warned you first. But I did say sit down. I did say it could be shocking. I'm going to get him to try that VM thing. That's a fabulous idea, Terry. I should credit you with that one. I'd forgotten all about that.
Welcome to modern apps.
You talk amongst yourselves, Mike. They're not going to hear you. You're miles away. I explained it for people who were mainly Windows developers who wanted to develop in what's it called now? The code environment that they just changed on the Mac. And that was the only way to do it. So if you wanted to submit iBooks, you needed to have a Mac, and that was the workaround. But the application that provides the framework to do it is completely free. So that was why I was suggesting it. So I'm definitely going to suggest that to Mike. Just imagine the fun of running Mojave on a Surface. But do you know what? If it ran fabulously well, we'd all be looking at our iPads and thinking, I wish it ran Mac OS. So have you sorted it out?
No, it's talking about using modern apps.
Oh, so you need like OneNote for Windows 10.
I guess so.
And Edge? Would Edge work? Nope, that's not a modern app, is it?
What's a modern app?
Well, no, the really purple one.
Yeah, it's not one.
Oh, actually, it's hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's running OneNote, which is available on the Mac. Oh, a Surface Tosh, that'd work, wouldn't it? I'm liking that. I did seriously think about building a Hackintosh because I wanted the old cheese grater one, the Mac Pro, and then they bought that bin out, and the bin never really cut it for me. So I thought about that as well.
It shows you what files you've been using.
And you slide it with your finger, so yeah, I'm liking that. Oh, that's actually quite similar to Time Machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Only that's going backwards in time through versions of it, and that's showing you what you've actually used.
I'll work it out.
When he works it out, we'll share it with you.
Oh, shall I show the...
Okay, we got a question. Jane says, how does the price compare with an iPad? Actually, it's not at all bad given what you get. So you tell all about the price.
It was, for this one, which as I said is virtually the top spec. It's 16 gig of RAM, 512 gig hard drive, i7 processor. It was 1,800 quid, plus 100 for the pencil, plus 124 for the type cover. So what's that compared to?
I think my iPad was about 111.
Yeah.
Was it 11? I didn't go for the 512 though. Mine's 256.
But what you've got to remember is this is a real computer. Well, I think it's a real computer.
He's just committed sacrilege in the Mac world. Try to just not notice that, people. No, I agree with you. It's if you think about what I spent, I got my iPad, but I also got a laptop, and Mike's got just one device because it does both. So yes, I don't think the price is bad. You're looking at about 2,000, aren't you?
Yeah.
But it's a fairly high spec for that. So, but for most people, I would guess it was almost twice the price of an iPad. Almost.
The other thing I'll show you, and we did discuss this in a show.
Now, this works on a Mac.
I don't know when we discussed it in a show, a few months ago, is a portable monitor.
Look at the colour of that. It's filthy.
I know it's filthy.
Look at the state of it. Look how bad that is. Oh my God.
So yeah, it's basically a flat monitor. I think it's 15 inches, and it comes with me to work every day. So that's why it's filthy. It plugs into USB. So, like you said, it works on a Mac, it works on Windows, it works on a Surface. It needs no power of its own. What it does require is a driver to be installed, which broke on
14 point something.
Which apparently is now fixed, but I'm not going to take the risk.
You've not upgraded?
No.
No, well, what you can do is you can try it on one of mine that I have upgraded. So is that mirror? No, it's not, is it? That's extending. So it's extending from this, which is the Surface, across to that. And the only cable it needs is its data cable, which I should probably leave alone, which takes power as well. So it's taking power from the Surface for that. That's not going to work on an iPad, is it?
No.
Although, having said that, if the end that went into the device, which is this one here, which is a standard USB-A, was a USB-C, it would, technically. So we'll have to try that with one of those adapters. Now, if you've heard the show, I mentioned some adapters. This is all right. You're okay with this, people. You are absolutely okay. These are £3. So I'll show you these. Like a little matchbox. There they are. USB-C to all kinds of various things.
So, Graham listened to the show and then he went on the Microsoft site to spec up a Surface.
Nice one, Graham. I'm impressed. So what I did to make my pen drive work with my new MacBook Air was use this middle one, which is standard input there and USB-C there, and it worked. So they were about £3. And has anybody ever had anything from Orky? I find them a fantastic make. I've got lots of power supplies. These here are Orky power supplies, hiding away under there. So I have great use from their kit. So can highly recommend those as well. I'll find a link for those. These things here. But they worked brilliantly. So they just live in the drawer there. The magic drawer that's got all kinds of stuff in it down there. Are you speccing it up as well now?
No, I'm trying to find.
Yeah, you see, they're quite inexpensive, aren't they? There's one there at $7.50.
Yeah.
The trouble is, they run Windows. But apart from that, but when you listen to the show, you'll find even I was tempted, but not by a Surface. Well, not that Surface anyway. I was much more interested by the big, sexy one that looked like an iMac, but wasn't quite an iMac. So you sort yourself out there while I fill them in. And you've got something Orky as well. Brilliant. Yep, Anker are another good one. Anker and Orky, they do make some fantastic stuff. A Rav Power. Rav Power's another one that does good stuff.
Yeah, you see, if you go for the... Now that's now available.
Yeah, well, it wasn't before.
No, it wasn't.
But you've still not got price there.
Surface Pro 6, 512, 16 gig, 1 terabyte.
You need your Core i7 at the bottom.
16 gig, 1 terabyte, i7, 1900 quid. Yeah.
You nearly added that to the cart, then.
It's I wouldn't have checked out.
So that's now available. Yeah, but you got... The reason that he didn't order it from the Microsoft store, if you've listened to the show, you'll be aware, but if not, was... Why'd you go to John Lewis?
I got it from John Lewis because they give a 2-year guarantee on all electrical goods.
And that includes Apple kit. They're no more expensive than anywhere else, despite the fact they're John Lewis. So, good idea, I say. Now, this monitor that works with the Mac is very nice. Try and lift it up. Just point that there. Don't move it. I'm going to try and lift it up so you can see how thin it is. That's it. Oh, you see my plaster on my finger as well. You do not want me to take that off, believe me. So that's that. And that, by comparison, is the width of the keyboard. So very, very similar.
It's the thinnest piece of plastic ever.
It is. It is. But actually, when you look at that, that is a very big monitor, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, full 15 inches there. That is very nice and very thin. So stood up, very portable for Mike to take to work. And stood up, you can just use an iPad stand to stand it up in. So that works fantastically. Right.
Right. Enough of the Surface.
Enough of the Surface.
But
you know, now we've shocked everybody like crazy. What should we look at next? What shall we look at? And don't forget, you're supposed to be putting questions in there for things for us to talk about. So you get rid of all your kit there, Mike. Shall I show them my new iPad stand? How do you fancy seeing a new iPad stand?
Yeah, then I'll show my iPad stand.
Actually, it's not an iPad stand, it's a phone stand. So that's not going to work very well because I've not got a phone, have I? But there you go.
I've got a phone.
That is my new...
iPhone.
Yeah, go on, get me an iPhone. That's my new iPhone stand. Rationale for that, I'll just put the cover on it, Mike. Don't want it to have an accident, it's Mike's. It looks like a little traffic light stuck there, doesn't it? This part is very, very rubbery. So it's not likely to fall out. It's got a kind of lip on the front there. It holds it in both orientations. Look at the state of that case, Mike. All right, so holds it that way for watching the TV. Holds it that way as well. So there we go. Right. Best thing about it for me is this bit here on the head. See, there's a tiny gap there. This is going to be difficult with one hand, but I'll attempt to do it anyway. Right. It tilts. So it tilts up, and there we go. See that? It tilted down. So it tilts back quite a way and tilts down. So it's fantastic for having in front of me when I'm video calling Mike. Also, just as useful when I'm watching the TV. Now, benefit of this is, it was a £5. I like good value kit. It's metal. That bit is metal too. Top bit's plastic. That bit there is plastic. You have to assemble it yourself. Rubber at the bottom. Basically, you just need to put that screw in. And the screw goes all the way up here and screws into that. So, can highly recommend that. I'll put the link in for that. Right, what have we got in the chat here?
Kevin's looking for an iPad.
A 512 and a 256 iPad Pro. Any thoughts? I went for the 256. The price difference, I mean, if you're spending that much on an iPad, you know, by all means treat yourself. My logic was most of my stuff's in the cloud. If it was a phone, I think I'd go for the 512 because I do a lot of video and a lot of photos. But on the iPad, I've never really, not even when I've transferred a lot of videos to watch, have I ever gone over about 130, 140. So I figured the 256 would be fine. Plus the fact I know I'm probably going to want to upgrade faster than I'd fill 512. But that was why I went for it. You went for the 512 on the Surface.
I guess that's what you meant, Kevin.
Mm?
So I'm talking to Kevin.
Yeah, Surface, right. On the Surface,
yeah,
I think I would have gone for 512 on the Surface because, this is going to sound again, it's terrible, but it's a proper OS. So it needs a bit of room to manoeuvre.
Yeah.
When it's doing updates, system updates, it's going to need a lot of space to download those. So if you had 256, you basically have to leave 100 free for comfortable updates.
Yeah.
So yes, if it was a Surface, I'd definitely go for the 512. I don't know whether I would bother with the terabyte though. Right, so what we got here? Oh, get one free from work.
I got one free from work.
You did, but it was only on loan.
It was, like most things.
Sadly.
I'm getting, did I tell you this? An iPhone and an iPad from work.
Oh my.
Won't be the latest and greatest.
No, it'll be a prehistoric one.
It'll be an iPhone 5.
Better than nothing though, better than nothing. Kevin, I think you'd find you'd love OneNote in it. Mike brought one back a while back and that was what I tested in it, and the pen works fantastic in OneNote. Must admit I'm moving some of my OneNote stuff elsewhere though. But right, yeah, I think on an iPad, as long as you've got enough room to put the system update on, I tend to treat an iPad as, don't take this the wrong way, but dumb terminal. I don't put data on it. The data's all going to be elsewhere, or it's going to be backed up somewhere. There's hardly anything on it. In fact, the only thing I'd worry about if my iPad spontaneously combusted was any photographs I hadn't backed up, and I think they're automatically backed up. So I wouldn't go more than 256 at the moment because of, like I've said, one, where my data is. Two, I'm usually where Wi-Fi is, so I can pull it down. So for those reasons, I wouldn't go more than that. Oh, Graham. Now, music, I use Spotify. So it does cache, but you can control how much it caches, so you don't need to worry about it.
I was actually thinking before that I put all my music on the 21-inch.
Yep.
And when I got the 27-inch, I didn't put anything on there.
I've never
so
had...
I haven't actually got access to my iTunes library.
No, I haven't. It's on an external drive and I've not plugged it in for years, which was what I said to you.
Well, I don't miss it.
Don't know if you guys know, but Apple have finally reneged and they're allowing Apple Music to work on the Echo devices. Echo devices. There's an Echo device and there's an Echo device. We've got Echo devices, which is a big thing, I think. I think that is a huge thing. It's going to be the middle of December, and that's a game changer because we certainly haven't got a HomePod. And to me, that was what was driving the sales of the HomePod. So if that's not driving the sales of the HomePod, I'm not really sure what is driving the sales of the HomePod anymore. But they've obviously come to their senses. The thing that attracted me was that iTunes Match, which I know is not the same as Apple Music. But that's where I get confused. Are they two separate services? Do you piggyback them together? I have no idea how that works. The iTunes Match part appeals to me, but all I've done is put the stuff that's not on Spotify in a cloud service, and then I play it from there. So today, now let's get this on here, and then you can see, because I've got a couple of items today that were cheap. So let's open that and show you. Today's a very, very good day to buy an Echo Dot. Let's bring that on.
I'm just about to find out what she's been spending money on.
No, because I'm all like Echo dotted out. Right, no, today...
like iPad Cyril.
Yes. If you're looking for an Echo Dot, that's the brand new one and it's half price. So now it's working with Apple Music. If you've got Apple Music, it'll work with Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music and Audible, as well as TuneIn, the BBC. Oh, what else do we use on it? Basically, it just works. We've got the old one. We don't have that new one. I'm not a fan of the fact that they're fabric. I'll be honest with you. Let me move this over here or I'm not going to be able to see the chat, which wouldn't be good, would it? So let's... And we're going back to the toilet brush. Where are we? Dot. There we go. Echo Dot. Right.
I can't see the chat now.
Well, move it and then you can. Right. Bluetooth from the iPad to the Echo. I don't, Graham, pretty much, because now you see you've got your stuff on there. My stuff's in Spotify, so I just ask it to play. And it does.
I'm confused of somewhere as well, Jane. They don't make a great job of marketing these things, do they?
They don't. I'm with Jane. I'm confused as to how iTunes Match works with Apple Music. And I certainly don't know if iTunes Match stuff will play on the Echo. I don't think they know yet. All that we know so far is that it's going to be coming out in December, but there isn't a single point of rollout. It's going to be a staggered rollout. As soon as I know, you will know. I'm assuming that it's all Apple Music, that it's not just the paid-for service. Because I have got some stuff that I've bought from Apple, but I don't subscribe to Apple Music. So that needs to be thought about as well. I have plugged stuff into it, though, Graham. To go back to your Bluetooth. Is there something that shows the back of this? No, that's not helpful, is it? We've got the older model, which is only £20 at the moment, but we have had it over 2 years.
You don't need iTunes Match if you have music.
So, but will it match your music, Graham? So if you pay for an Apple Music subscription and you've got some stuff that isn't up there, will it let you upload it? That's the burning question.
Which is what iTunes Match is, isn't it?
Which came out first, and then they brought out music, and then you're left confused. There's like Jane, you're confused. But anyway, if you're in the market for this...
what was that thing called?
What thing?
That music social network they had.
Ping.
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 That died a death.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, if you're in the market, look at when it's in stock, 26th of January. But at least it's half price. It was next week, but obviously they've sold a lot. I wonder if the other colours are available any faster. No, they're even worse. But you could order today and you would get it at half price. So can't say fairer than that. The sound out of these things is actually pretty good. Should we try getting it to play something?
Yeah, go on.
We'll try and we'll pull this one over and we'll try and get it to play something. So
Alexa?
Just a minute, it isn't going to listen. I've got it turned off. Right, let's get this thing here. Here we are.
Alexa?
Just a minute. Let me get it turned on. Right.
Alexa, play MacBites episode 114.
She's not going to know about that. See, she doesn't know that one. Let me turn it on.
Will you say something?
Alexa, play ABBA.
Shuffling songs by ABBA from Elaine's Spotify.
Right, that's all I'm going to do before YouTube cut us off. But you get the idea. We could put the radio on, couldn't we?
Alexa, play Radio 2.
Here's Radio 2.
The BBC.
Open embrace, where the couple maintains a space between their bodies. And then there's close embrace, where the couple connect
What
in
have we
the upper
got?
thai and hip area.
Okay, I think that's enough of that. For the uninitiated, that was Shirley from Strictly.
Was it?
Yes, it was. And she was talking about dancing positions, and we came in at totally the wrong moment. Oh dear, sorry about that, Graham. I can't see that very well. What's the name there?
Oh no.
I can't see very well because I've not got my glasses on, but hello to the person just above Graham and between Graham and Jane. Jane, honestly, that wasn't us. That's typical of us. That's typical. We come in just at that moment. Anyway, if you're in the market, good time to buy an Echo, and it'll work with Apple Music. So,
Of course, Alexa understands British, Terry.
Alexa's pretty good, actually, isn't she? She's pretty good understanding stuff. I'm just going to turn her off before she starts doing weird stuff, though. Right, so that was buying an Echo. Now, last time, got to get this in before I forget. Right, this was the piece that we talked about right at the end of the last live show, and we didn't have a chance to show you. And obviously, it's critical. It's the toilet brushes. We mentioned it as you might want a stocking filler for Christmas. And you thought we were joking, but look, we're not. We're absolutely not. There you go. Look at that. And apparently these things are handmade. Who in their right minds would want to, but never mind. I actually thought, we've got a friend who's actually a Trump fan. And last year they bought this friend a toilet roll with his face on. So this year they're going for one of these. And it's a woman who's put them on Etsy. They're £19 each. But you know, it's got to be done, hasn't it? Look at these. Heaven knows how long it takes her, but I think she's had over 3,000 orders. So if you are in the market and you're not having a dot, you could always have one of those. Kevin, tell Mrs. Kevin I'm sincerely apologetic, but she'll enjoy it. Honestly. So there's another gift. You know, MacBites, we don't half find you some decent stuff. We've had the stand for £5. We've had a Surface if you're in the market for spending a lot more money. And the toilet brush. You can't go wrong with a toilet brush, can you? So I can get rid of those two now. No, I better not, actually, because I'll put the links in the notes afterwards. Right, now, what else was available today? I'm not sure, Kevin, if this is just England. So, Kevin, have a look. But today, there is an offer on a Logitech webcam, and it's only 25 quid. I think these used to be about 90. I bought one a year ago. But they are very, very good quality. They are definitely worth £25 if you are in the market. That is the camera that I used at one of my live sessions where I had it pointing down at the iPad, if you remember. So you could see my fingers moving on Affinity Designer, I think it was. And that's the very camera that I used. So if you want to have a look at how good that is, then whip along and have a watch of my video. That ends in a couple of hours though, so if you want that, you're going to have to move fast. But it is a very, very good price for that. Oh, thank you for that. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. That's very true, Graham. But just imagine with Brexit what we're going to come up with. I'm wondering why she's not done a Boris one. In fact, there's a whole family of Johnsons, isn't there? I should probably leave that there. Kevin, I'm assuming you're talking about the dot. Let me just show you. Oh no, I can't show you there, can I? I need to move that so you can see it. All right, let me just show you. You'll notice here that we've got a red dot there and we have red there. That's when it's off, because otherwise what happens is we're training and something that we say sets Alexa off, and then she sets Siri off, and they start talking to each other.
Oh, did your Siri go off this afternoon when I was training?
Yes, it did.
And also.
And all of a sudden Mike's training and he'll say something like, that's a seriously good feature, and the next minute, bing, bing, sorry, I didn't get that. Or worse still, she makes a suggestion.
Or Siri.
Oh, but you'll enjoy it, Kevin, honestly, you will. So that was one. So we've got the dot, we've got the Logitech camera. Oh, how about a freebie? Who's up for a freebie? Found this today for free. Let me see if I can paste that in the... last time it wouldn't let me, would it? But I own the channel, so it should do. Whee! It's working. Right, that is for the iPhone.
Link.
That's for the iPhone. There's been a desktop version, and we've demonstrated it before. So it's a little bit like the Magic Remove tool, basically. Which one did we use last time?
The girl with the sets.
Yes, I know. What do we? Was it Snapseed?
No, it was Snapheel.
Snapheel. It's similar to Snapheel, but it's on iOS. And today it's free. Now, there's a couple of duff reviews, but then there's a review later than those two that says it's great. So why you'd want to remove a child from a photo, I don't know. The zits I can understand, but a child, maybe not. So yes, it was £5.
Have you noticed?
What?
Every app that lets you erase things from photos uses zits.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But I have actually done that for real for people, so it is something people want to do. The other thing that gets me is these people in pictures,
Yeah,
beach pictures.
I know people who want to erase their ex-partners.
Yes, I've had that as well. I've torn these photos in half. Can you put them back together and remove the other person? Oh, you want to be here when we're getting stuff, queries, people asking for stuff. Right, I could do a quick demo of some software. Who wants to see a software demo? Who's heard of Loopback? I'll leave. Well, you've heard of it. Do you know how it works?
Yeah.
Ballpark.
It's magic.
It's magic.
It's magic.
By which he means you configure it and I use it.
And leave it alone. Yes.
So who's heard of Loopback? And if you haven't heard of Loopback, have you heard, supplemental question, have you heard of Audio Hijack? Graham's heard of it. Have you got it, Graham? Or is it one of those things you don't think you're going to need? Graham, prepare yourself.
Graham, you'll be spending money.
No, don't tell him. He'll tune out. No, don't tell him. Right.
Installing it now. It doesn't.
That's the freebie.
That's
the freebie.
Yeah.
Calm down, Mike. That's the freebie. They're a fraction behind on the chat. I think there's a delay of about 30 seconds. So it's always possible that we're going to be talking cross purposes. Right. So you have heard of it. Okay. What Loopback is, let me show you. Here's Loopback. This is version 2 of Loopback. Won't need Loopback. Okay,
What's
Graham. Jane, can you possibly explain need again? Right. this is Loopback. Loopback 2 has just come out today. Odd day to release software, I thought, but, never mind. Never mind. It's released today. I've been on the beta program for months, under months, under months. And it's fantastic. They've made some changes to it and from version 1, and it's amazing. Now, if you have got Audio Hijack, there's a possibility that you won't need Loopback. There you go, Graham. How's that? Good evening, Deborah. Audio Hijack is indeed fantastic.
No, it's good morning, Deborah.
Is it good morning
Is
to
it the
Deborah?
same Deborah from last week?
I believe it is.
In that case, it's good morning.
Right, I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to show you. It's
Saturday morning.
We've actually got Audio Hijack running there. There's all of my Audio Hijack stuff running. So it's going through all kinds of things. And finally, at the end, it's going out to a loopback pipe. And that loopback pipe is what's broadcasting to you. So I use both. That's what Audio Hijack looks like. So where's my interface gone again?
Do you think Deborah knows Jane?
She might do. But Australia is a big place,
True.
That's like assuming everybody who lives in England knows each other, Mike. Right, so what Audio Hijack gives you is the ability to record and manipulate audio on the fly. What Loopback gives you is the ability to make virtual audio devices. So what I mean by that, Graham, an old version. Might have to relieve Graham of some cash for the new one.
Upgrade fee.
The old one was a very, very different interface. Absolutely. Very different interface. I prefer the new one, but I didn't initially. Initially, it was like, what on earth is this doing? I mean, if I just show you, let's open up this and move it there and open up. When I'm doing a MacBites Live, where I'm rebroadcasting their audio, this is what I'm doing. This is what I have going on. So this is Audio Hijack. And what you're looking at there is a behind the scenes from a MacBites Live. I take the output of the loopback pipe. So obviously I do need loopback for that to work. Where's that coming from? Well, it's a virtual device. And where it's coming from is where you've just seen, which is this one. All of that there is going in and it's doing things with it, denoising and stuff like that, altering the volume, and it's recording, and it sends all of that audio to a virtual device called a loopback pipe. The loopback pipe then comes into this one when I'm doing a MacBites Live. So that's basically my microphone. And it does another recording. And then it does other things. These are brown, well, greyish, because they're not actually turned on at the moment. You can turn them on and off like that. And I can alter the volume, and it does another recording. And then it goes to another output device. And that output device is the MacBites Live pipe. Now, if that was all it did, I'm making my own life complicated. But it's not all it does. If you look across to here, when whoever is talking, Craig, Tim, whoever, the audio's in Safari. And I need to control the volume of that audio and record it and broadcast it. We've also at times taken stuff from Spotify or anywhere else. Doesn't matter. You can go in there and change the source to anything you like. So if you wanted it from iTunes, you could. If you wanted to take it from your iTV, you could, or even a browser. So I take that audio, I can control the volume of that, it records it, and then it broadcasts it. So basically what this is doing from Audio Hijack is taking multiple sources, my microphone, Safari, Spotify, and broadcasting the lot to a MacBites Live pipe. And that MacBites Live pipe is what I set connect to, because you can only have one device at a time being broadcast, and I need 3. So Audio Hijack's what makes that happen for me. What Loopback gives me are the virtual devices. So I have that as a virtual device, and I have that as a virtual device. So that's what Loopback gives me. Now, just give me a quick second, and the chat's been going crazy, so I'm going to go in and have a look if there's any questions there. Oh.
Yeah, when we said Australia's a big place.
Yeah.
Deborah lives in Perth.
Oh, good grief. Jane used to live in Perth. Get talking to each other. I'm now going to be told that Perth's sort of the size of London, and then some. Right, let's go in here. Yes, Kevin, Soundflower is exactly what Loopback is based on. The reason I've ditched Soundflower is as we iterate through operating system versions, it stops working every 5 minutes. Loopback's far more stable than that, but Rogue Amoeba actually bought Soundflower and basically reverse engineered it and created Loopback from it. Right, let's carry on. Oh, yeah, MacBites Down Under. We definitely need one of those. Okay, so this is what we're talking about, Loopback. So what I'll do is I will open Loopback. Now, you'll notice there I've got 2 versions of it installed. Version 1 is literally historic now. I'm on to version 2, and that's the only version that I'm going to be using. It also installs over the top of 1, so you don't have to worry about it. So that's what Loopback actually looks like. Let's get rid of that video, because I put the camera down on the table, so we don't want to be looking at that, do we? That is what Loopback looks like. So if you've never seen it, everything you see on the left is a virtual device. So all of these things, you know, you'll look at them and Adobe Connect, well, that's software. Camtasia, that's software. Chromium, it's software, it's a browser. Some of them are turned on, so you can see Firefox at the moment is turned on, and you can see I've got some bouncing in Firefox. Why have I got bouncing in Firefox? Because I've got Firefox open here, and this is going to look like a Rumbelow shop window now, because this is the video that you're watching at the top, and the audio's coming from it, and that's why this is moving here. So it's created a virtual audio device for Firefox. It's also done, well, I've created them for Chrome. There's my Loopback pipe. Now, I daren't touch this. If I do, you're going to stop hearing me. But that Loopback pipe is basically my microphone. The reason that I've got it as a virtual thing is because I've virtualized some of the audio that you're hearing through Audio Hijack and then passed it on to Loopback. There's the MacBites Live pipe. There's Opera and QuickTime Player, Safari, ScreenFlow. I've got a virtual device for the Yeti, and I've also got Zoomers. Now, the reason I do that is so I can capture audio discreetly. So, if I had some audio playing, as I have now in Firefox, and I wanted to record it, I can do. And I don't have to worry that I've also got Chrome open and there's something in Chrome making a noise. When I record the virtual device that is Firefox, I get clean audio from it. And that's one of the reasons that I tend to use it. Very, very easy to create a virtual device. You hit that plus at the bottom, and it adds a Loopback audio device. So first thing to do, change the name of it. And what I'm going to use for this one is Google Chrome Canary, which I had one for, and now I don't because I just deleted it so I can make one. So this is going to capture audio from Chrome Canary. At the moment, it's not doing much at all. What you need to do is select an application. Now, if I look down that list, Chrome Canary isn't listed, so I'm going to have to go to Select Application. At which point it'll go to my Applications folder, and they're all in here, which I'm hoping is alphabetical. So somewhere around the Google point, there we go, Google Chrome Canary. So all I need to do is point it to the Applications folder and click Open. And that's it. So it looks really complicated, but it's not very complicated at all. Now, to see it at work, let's go into Chrome. So here's Canary. Let's just go to YouTube and find a video. Please don't be something inappropriate. Like the Strictly woman talking. Shall we find one of mine? Let's find one of mine. There we go. Oh, and there I am. No, I'm not going to try and do this one, which is telling me I'm live now. Let's go for that one there. All right, let's go for that one. Oh, now I've got an advert. I don't see adverts because I've got a premium account, and this isn't my premium account, it's my secondary account. Right, I can skip the ad. There we go. Right, hopefully that's bouncing away. And you can see in here that it's acknowledging that this virtual device is capturing the audio that is coming from Chrome Canary. Oh, there's the quality of that video I was talking about as well while we were at it. That webcam that was £25. So it's that simple to create one of these things. One of the reasons I use it, you'll laugh at this. You will completely laugh at this. If I'm watching two things at the same time, maybe I've got a webinar running in the background somewhere and I've got the ITV on, I can record the audio through this Chrome Canary, but I can hear it. If I turned my sound up now, if I'm watching two things, oh, that's not good. You can hear how much stuff I've got going on here. But if you open the options, you have the ability to mute Chrome Canary when it's being captured. So you just take the tick out of there, and if I were capturing that, this would just be totally quiet. You wouldn't hear it at all. But it gets recorded. So Loopback provides you with such a fantastic ability to be very flexible in how you process your video. So it's not a cheap piece of kit, and not everybody is going to need it. If you've got Audio Hijack and it's doing everything you want, then don't worry about it. But if you want the kind of flexibility to do the kind of stuff that I do with it, then it's absolutely essential. It's a fantastic piece of kit. It's been incredibly robust, even in the beta, where normally I have trouble with the betas, but not too bad for that. So I find it essential. You'll see here I've got some of these turned off, so like Camtasia, and I usually have Hindenburg, but I think I've only just installed this. But one of the things is, who remembers the outtakes?
I do.
You do. You were in nearly all of them. When we've recorded the show, I edit it in Hindenburg. Shall I see if we can see a Hindenburg thing? Let's have a look at Hindenburg. That's what Hindenburg looks like. No, we don't want you doing that. This is a real behind the scenes. Look at that. There's MacBites. There is MacBites, completely behind the scenes. You've got the welcome intro at the top. You've got my bit there. You've got Mike bits underneath. Siri's bits under that. And Lady Siri under that. Somewhere in here, as I move gently along, there should be, on the sound effects thing. Didn't I put a dun 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 in there? Which I think was on there.
Or did you say it?
No, that wasn't me. If you got mistaken, it wasn't me. Oh, that's only 25 minutes in. Let's move. This is what MacBites looks like. Look at that. Look at all those edits. This is you kicking the table. These two things.
Kicking the table.
Oh, you were doing something. Right, into the app review, coming out the other end. There's definitely something on that track. Honestly, there is. I definitely remember putting it in. Hardware review. Was it after the hardware review? Oh, there we go. Keep going. There was some. There it is. There it is. It was the event. That's right. It was the event. There it is up there. So if we've got an outtake, you know, like where these cuts are here, and I want to capture that so I can use it for an outtake, then I have to be able to record it. Now, obviously, I can press play. But how would I capture just the audio from Hindenburg? That's the question. So I go into Loopback and I make a new device. And I add a source to it. Select an application. Just having a quick look, see if it's listed. No, it's not. Wouldn't be helpful, would you? Move down to GH, Hindenburg. There we go. Add that. That's it. I'm done. Just change the name to Hindenburg. No, I've not spelled that right. Don't try and type and speak at the same time, woman. So when we've next got an outtake, there you go. It's sorted. Right. I believe she does, Kevin. I've used it for quite a while now. It's very quirky as an audio editor. If you look at it, you might think, well, it doesn't look any different to any of the other audio editors you've looked at. And I'm thinking of We use Soundtrack Pro, we use GarageBand, Audacity, Fission, Amadeus Pro. What else have we used?
Wave.
That was on Windows. You put your Windows head off.
The Adobe one.
The Adobe Audition. Logic Pro, I've used that as well. But this one focuses solely on voice. Because of that, what makes it worthwhile for me is if you look across to the right, you've got the chapters here. These are all the chapters that are in the show. You can attempt that with other audio editors, but it doesn't export them properly. Whereas in here, all I've got to do is create a chapter marker, add the thumbnail, done. And then there's all the bits that we use, like the stingers. There's the opening titles, the credits. There's the Apple Bite, the Switcher's Corner. There's the Siri bits. These are the Siri bits there. There's sound effects that I have available. And they're all available on the right-hand side there in those bins. Nothing else works as well for editing spoken word audio as this does. What I will say is it's very, very quirky. There are shortcut keys to access some of the functions. And because there's a shortcut key, they're not in the menu, which is terrible for accessibility. So one thing, for instance, I needed to be able to add chapters and then change the name of them. And what I had to do was string together a Keyboard Maestro thing because it was clashing with something in Scrivener. So every time I used the shortcut key, Scrivener was cranking up. And there's no way in Hindenburg to change any of that. But you have had an exclusive behind the scenes peek there at what MacBites looks like in the naked, as it were. Let's get back to the Strictly thing. In the naked. That's what an episode of MacBites looks like before it hits your feeds. So Loopback. Loopback is nothing short of amazing. Not for everybody, but now you know what it does, you would know if it was for you. So, Graham, it's not cheap. We tempted you. We even tempted you to upgrade your Audio Hijack. Right, now, what was the other thing I had to show? Oh, you'll like this one. Now, you're going to hold that for me while I get this on here. This is something. Who's got... Yes, pointing down at that. Right, who's got an old... let me get that out of the way. There we go. An old laptop that uses the second gen of the MagSafe. I have.
Me.
Have you?
Probably.
The white one?
Mm.
You need an adapter for the white one, but yes. So, what I have is this one. Let's get that down there. That one. There. MagSafe 2. MagSafe 2. And I've only got the one power supply. I do have others, but the others that I've got aren't particularly the right one. I need an adapter. They're older power supplies, and I need an adapter to make them work. So I'm looking here now, trying to find what that is. And this will explain why I spent money. Not that I can't spend money at any point, obviously. Right. One of these. One of those things. Oh, look at that. That's filthy, isn't it? That's terrible. There we go. You need one of those. And one of those is £10. It was 9. It's now 10. Robbing swines. And the power supplies that we had were 30, 45 watt, etc. So, there was a sale at Amazon. Drink. And I found this beauty. So I thought we'd do a total unboxing of the thing and show you what it is and why you might be in the market for one, given the price at Apple is nearly £100. Right, so let's open this up and see what we've got. We have a rather nice charger, which has on the front of it, it's got 2 USB pass-throughs, and it has this at the bottom. That is not the bit that goes to the mains. That is the bit that goes to the mains. Which comes with this to plug it in with. So that goes in one end and then that just goes to the mains. Which leaves this end. So let's fish out the rest out of the box. And this is exactly as it was packed. It was all rather strange. Because as I pulled this out, I thought, why is this sticking out of the bag? You've got one end sticking out of the bag and the other end was sticking out of the bag. I have no idea, but let's take it out of the bag. No, I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's so you know that there's two ends to the thing. But basically, yes, what you've got at this end is exactly the same as that thing. So it's a dedicated MagSafe 2. So anything that uses MagSafe 2, you are okay with this. And at the other end, so this is actually independent. It's not actually attached. But this end goes in there. And then that end goes in said laptop. So let's drag the laptop back in. There we go. We see that. And, oh, now obviously it's not plugged in, so it won't light up. But that way I don't need the little block. And, as you might have seen on the front of it, which was down there, let's get that in, 60 watt. It charges in like 5 minutes. It's amazing. Now, I paid for that. Should we take guesses on how much I paid for these things? I don't know whether I'm going to let you... Oh, that's a dirty look. I don't know whether I'm going to let Mike play that how much did I spend guessing game.
Either.
Oh, don't be silly. I just told you the Apple one was nearly 100 quid. So, it's a little bit more than a fiver, but...
$9.99.
You're ruining this.
I've no idea.
Right, should we start at 100 and work down then?
Like an auction?
Yes, only in reverse.
90.
That's better. That's better. No, I paid £14 for that.
That was close.
Which I thought was fantastic. It's even got the little clip on it that you get on the Apple one. So you can fold this up as you will, and then that would clip in, etc. It's too domestic for me, this thing. But there you go. That clips in there.
And same to you, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin.
Enjoy your dinner.
We need to do it earlier for you, don't we? We'll sort that out at Christmas. That was a good guess, Graham, actually. I probably would have gone up to about £40 for it, because the thing is, you know, I still have got this over here. This over here, which is my 2012 MacBook Air. And I only have the one charger, which is like I've talked about with chargers. It's under the desk, but it was £14. And I can't believe how fast it charges it. Plus the fact I've got these two pass-through ports. So now I can basically pack that when I go away. Now, even better. So Jane's thinking 14 quid was a bargain. Wait for it, Jane. Because I was shocked. As I saw that, I thought, that's great. But then I went back to the box and I thought, what's this? And there was more toys in the box. So what they've actually put in here, there's the instructions for it at the bottom of said box. But, you know, you don't really need instructions for this, do you? Right, you've got two things. You have this thing here, which looks rather odd. But because you've got these two pass-throughs, it would be handy if it stood up. So it gives you a little stand so you can stand it up. And it goes in either way. So if you want that one at the top with your USBs at the bottom, you can do that. But if you want it the other way around, you can do it that way around. But you don't need to use the stand. It's completely optional. You know, if you want it the other way around where it's flat on the desk, you can do that as well. £14. But then there was this with it. They actually supply you with some USB cables. Unbelievable. Because I think I paid more than 14 quid for cables. And they're pretty good quality cables as well. They're a fabric nylon-y thing. And they are... I think that's a Kindle-style cable. I could get my Kindle and shove it in. But my Kindle might not recover. So I think it's a Kindle-style one. But they came with it. So I thought that was fantastic. Now, caveat, it was on offer. It was on offer. I've checked the price tonight and it's $19.99. But to be honest with you, I still think that lot for $19.99 is a great price. With it being the 60 watt version, you should be okay with an old MacBook Pro as well. Now, what did it say on the box? I'm not sure if it said MacBook Air or what. No, it just says laptop power adapter, so it's not being specific either. There's a dot on there with the different power supplies that come with it. Obviously, mine's got a UK power supply with it. But yeah, that should work on a MacBook Air, a MacBook Pro, anything that's got a MagSafe 2 on it. And given that when you actually search for replacement power supplies, they start at 60 quid. That one didn't come up and I don't know why. Probably because it doesn't actually say MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, but ridiculously, that's all it would work with. It's a MagSafe 2. So it's all it would work with. So highly recommend that as well. There you go. There's the spec on it all. I've tried it. It charges it brilliantly quickly, and I've charged other stuff on those ports at the same time as well. So can't say fairer than that. So a little bit of an unboxing there as well. I'll now get rid of all this and put it on the floor. I'm not going to be able to see the floor when I finished, you know. Right, let's get rid of that. Who uses a pencil with their iPad?
Me.
Oh, you do, don't you?
I do.
You do. Well, there's pencil 2. I've got a mark on my cover. Not good, not good. Get rid of that. Because we had a question come in from Evie. Some people are really organised. I'll get you the link for that, Jane. Not a problem. Some people are really organised. And Evie sent in a question. She wanted to know how much better Pencil 2 was than Pencil 1. So I thought I'd do a little quick look at the pencils. Now, to see this, Pencil 2. Do you want to see Pencil 1? All together, Mike. Yes. Right, so we'll see some. This is Pencil 1. Now, I know you're thinking that's big for Pencil 1. This is the Magic Pencil case. So inside the Magic Pencil case, this comes with me when I go out. And it isn't actually that big. Considering what's in it, brace yourselves. This is my emergency supplies when I leave the house. And you will see there are 2 Apple Pencils in there.
Most people take a blanket. You take 2 Apple Pencils.
Well, obviously, but I mean, look at it. I could take all. Shall I show you what exactly is in here?
So would that keep you warm?
It could do. There's power stuff in here. Right, there's an Apple Pencil. That's an Apple Pencil 1, and that's Apple Pencil 2. So first off, weight-wise, similar-ish. They are similar-ish. But length-wise, I'm going to show you that, which we did look at briefly last week. There you go. That one, Pencil 2 feels far better. Let's put it like that. So of the 2 of them, it's more... It actually feels like a HB pencil, is what I would say with those. So that was them side by side. Evie wanted to see them side by side, and that's where they are, side by side. So that's what they actually look like. It's fractionally thinner, and it is shorter. Now, I've got a different end on mine, but it's still exactly the same size as that. Right, so you're going to hold that for me, Mike. Who wants to see what I've got in this pencil case? No, not too far. Who wants to see what I've got in here? A girl can never have too much tech. And anyway, Jane might find something else, so I can send you all the links together, Jane. Right, usually I have 2 Apple Pencils. So that one is in there with that. Right, it's all right, let's lift it up. Okay. You'll notice on my Apple Pencil that I've got a pink strip. The choice of colour was not mine. It looks red, actually. I shouldn't have admitted it was pink. It is pink. It's washi tape. And the reason that it's washi tape is I've got these attached to different iPads. And the washi tape means I know instantly which one I want. And it's not the one with the washi tape on. Okay, so I have 2 in there, and that's how I tell the difference. Washi tape is very dry. It doesn't leave sticky residue behind. So it's very good for that. So that's what I take with me. Let's have a look at what's in it. So let's go over there. Right, so I'll take everything out and you can see how much I get in here. So first of all, I have my 2 Apple Pencils. So let's take those out. Those on the desk. Right, 2 Apple Pencils. Next to that, you'll notice 2 other pencils. Well, they're pens, I think, actually. Right, this one was one of the more expensive ones. That was what I used before the Apple one was available. And that is, what's that name called? Adroit, something like that. That's one of those. The other one, however, that's in here is dirt cheap. That was, I think, about £15, £16, something like that. That is the one I use on my iPhone. Because obviously, the silver one works on the iPhone. This works on the iPhone. Apple Pencils don't work on the iPhone. So that's why there's 4 pencils in there. And of course, my other pencil. So isn't it scary looking at that lot? This one was about £40. That one was about 15. 120, 80, and the other 90, I think. Yeah, basically, there's a lot of money there. Ridiculous. But let's have a look about what's the rest of the stuff that's in here. Oh, right. That is my charging cable. It's magnetic at the end, so it's a lightning cable. You might just hear that if I put it next to the microphone. You're not going to do it, are you? Come on. There you go. It twangs together at the end and is very thin. If you actually look at that, let's put it over the black thing. You see how thin it is? You literally kind of, it's only half of a USB. But that, with it being so short, is charging very, very quickly. I have actually got other ones of those blue and red and yellow. So I use these a lot. I use them with a charging block. So I can put the phone on top of the charging block and then plug the USB end into that, the lightning end into the device, and then actually hold them together. So that works brilliantly. So I have that with me at all times. What else do I have? I have, let's try and untangle that. These aren't usually together. They're together at the moment for reasons best known to somebody else. So let me just separate them. Right, that's one thing that I have. That is a pencil charger. So it changes a normal lightning cable into a pencil lightning cable. And it's on that, so I can hang it off a keyring if I need to. So with that with me, and that cable with me, I can charge my pencils on the road with my charging block, which is here. It doesn't quite fit in there, but that's my charging block, so that comes with me. Right, other thing I have here, let's hold that up. There we go. It's the missing dongle. The one for the phone that I always lose. Not lost it since I made this. But I did actually have to make this. It's got hook on this end. And I made it with this, which is if I pull them apart, you can see that that is just a jack plug. And I bought it as a jack plug that you could solder a cable into. Only I didn't solder a cable into it. If you look down there, I attached that in there. So that attaches inside there, and then I put that onto there. And we did mention a while back a thing called the Uncourage, and they were out of stock, so I made my own. So there it is. And that works fantastically. So that means I've got that with me as well. Oh, what else have I got in here? So much in here. Right, this looks like a pencil, but it's not a pencil.
A didgeridoo.
It could be a didgeridoo, couldn't it? It looks odd. It looks odd. Right, you're going to have to hold that for me, Mike, so I can actually show this. So hold it there. Right. What this is 5 items. Now, don't bring it that way. Lift it up there. Hold it there. Right, it's 5 items all pushed together. So if I pull them apart, you can see what they are. They are, don't disappear on me, 3. They are adapters for audio. And basically I've got them because, can you not, here, right, you look at me, you won't look at this. These ends here are very narrow. So, you know, when you've got your iPhone in a case or you're using headphones they're just too wide, that's what these are for. So what I do with them is I push them in like that. So I've got 5 of them with me at all times, and I don't tend to lose them because it's like having a pen. So it's like having another pen with me. And I bought them in a pack of 10, and the other 5 are in use. That's how useful they actually are. Right, what else have we got in here? I've got a bag of little adapters. And in my adapters, I've also got the proper ends for the pencil. So there's one that's on like a rubber springy thing, so I don't lose it. And there's the other one, just on its own. But I use these. And the reason that I use those is they let me manipulate my iPad with that. They're like a rubber tip. So I can use that end as well as that end. You might wonder why I would do that. And I certainly can't do it with the new pencil. But when you're training, if you were tapping the screen with this, you sound like a woodpecker and you can't get it to stop. So I use that end and it's very, very quiet, which is why I have these things. So got that there as well. And I have these adapters. So these ones turn cheaper cables, Kindle cables, into lightning cables. So I have a couple of those in there anyway. Don't think I've ever been forced to use them. But if I need them, they're there. Right, this thing... Where are you, Mike? There you are. That thing is a charger, USB charger, for this one. So if I do that, you see it actually snaps it out of my hand and onto there. So that plugs into something like that, and that charges. So if I actually do that, you can see the light comes on, and that's actually charging. Looks like a little radio thing now, doesn't it? But yeah, that's actually charging now. This is how I am on the road. I've got all these beautiful things on the road. Cleaning cloth. Got to have your cleaning cloth, haven't you? And then I've got more toys. What else have I got in here? Another pencil charger. That's the proper one. You'll notice that one's not actually as good as this one, because I could actually lose that, whereas that is on a tag, and I tend not to. But it's in there. I have a charging cable, which gives me the opportunity to use this with this, or I can actually use that to charge other stuff. And finally, I have there, can you see there, Mike? See those two white things? Anybody want to hazard a guess before I fish them out? Hello, Curtis. Good to have you with us. Anybody want to hazard a guess what they are? I remember paying about £15 for them, if that's any clue. I'll fish them out. They're ever so tiny. You definitely don't want to lose them. Not at £15. Whoa, she says as she dropped it on the floor. No, I've caught it. Ah, no, I haven't. Yes, I have. There we go. That's one, and I've got two of them. So in there, there they are. Right, give me that, then we can see them.
Pencil tips.
They're pencil tips, so I always have spare pencil tips with me as well.
Shall I show my pencil case?
So all of that came out of my pencil case that is with me at all times. Tell me that you all have these. Tell me that I'm not insane. So all of that came out of there.
You want to see my pencil case?
Yes, put yours down. Put yours down.
There's my pencil case.
Oh, it's similar, but you need more stuff in there, Mike. Has this got your pencil in? So your pencil's in there, you've got your charging thing, and you've got a charger at the other end. You know what'll happen, don't you, folks? We'll be away and you won't have something, and you'll say, have you got one? And then we'll look at all of this and say, oh, yes, absolutely. Terry, absolutely not. What time do you think I've got for that kind of malarkey? I've got too much kit to look after. No.
How long do the pencil tips last?
That's an excellent point. I've never changed one of mine, so they last pretty well. I got my first pencil in November 2015, and I've never changed one. What I will say is, one of these older ones, the one I use the most, and I don't think you're going to see this on the video. In fact, I can't see it too well. I've no idea how this happened. Let me see if I can get it to focus. No, it's not going to have it, is it? At the very tip of that, so on the bit that unscrews. Let me find it. Where have you gone? There it is. If I do that with my nail, if I do it next to the microphone, you should hear like a sort of clicking. It's as if there's a mark on the end of the pencil, like gouged out in a way. It doesn't affect the tip. It's on the side here where my nail is there. And it does annoy me. But I've never needed to change it. In fact, I'll just feel the end of that one that I've used the most. I would say it's worn a little bit, but not that much that I couldn't write with it. One thing I did notice early doors was if the pencil starts behaving erratically, it could just be that has come loose. If you've not got a pencil, you hold that for me, Mike, about there, so I can show them how that works. I'm trying to undo it. There we go. That's how it works. If that's ever so slightly loose like that, it doesn't look that loose, but it is, then it won't work. But when you change it, all you need to do is that. And now we have a naked pencil tip. That's what it looks like underneath. But they do last an inordinate amount of time, which is just as well, because the reason I've got these spares is that Apple used to ship spares with the pencil. Now they don't. So it's gone up in price from the original, which was it 79?
Yeah.
Went from 79 to 89, and now 119, and now they don't ship these little things with it. There. Which, that's a bit mean, isn't it? It is a bit mean. But as I say, mine's lasted a while. I think if you were drawing with it all day, though, I would say you may need to change it after maybe a year to 2 years. But I've extensively made notes with it and not changed one yet. But not only have I got my original 2 spares, I think I bought 2 spares as well. The good news is the spares work on either of them. So although these pencils are very different in some other ways, tip-wise, they're the same. I'd actually say it fits better on the 2. The 2 is the top one, but they are the same tips. And it certainly feels better in the hand. So that's my pencil case and Mike's pencil case. Now, did I have anything else on my list? Let me get my list. I'll get my iPad out. My iPad will have my list. We've done the toilet brush because we absolutely had to do the toilet brush. I got inquiries about the toilet brush last week saying, oh, you said you were going to mention the toilet brush. You didn't. You lot are crazy. Absolutely love you guys. If you've got any questions, good to have you with us, Terry. See you next time. Enjoy your dinner. If you've got any questions, put them in there now. Graham, how are you doing? How's the wallet? Is it feeling all right? And I've got to find all those links for Jane as well, which I will. I promise, Jane. Let me have a look at this. Where are we going? Where are we going? No, I didn't want that one, did I? Right, let's go into there. Let's go into there. And somewhere my list should be. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Right, there we go. Down we go. Okay, so we've done the Donald Trump thing. I've answered Evie's question about Pencil 1 and Pencil 2 and the contents of my pencil case. We've done the laptop power supply. Yeah, I wanted to know. I've got a question for you lot. Who's using Mojave already? And who isn't? And if you're not using Mojave, what are you on?
I'm not using Mojave.
Graham, you absolutely need to be ordering something. Should we suggest a Surface top of the range?
Oh, it's already spec'd it up, so it's half.
He's halfway there specking it up, isn't he? And Kevin's going to get one from work, which I think is an excellent plan. Mike's got Apple Kit on the way from work, but we're not sure what vintage it is. Do you still like Affinity Photo over Pixelmator? I've covered both in the past. On a daily basis, I use Affinity Photo. Made the mistake of opening Photoshop a couple of weeks back. The one thing I noticed was it opened quite quickly, which was just as well, because the first thing I did was close it. But I actually find using Photoshop quite odd now, to be honest. So it's Affinity Photo for me. But I've just got on the beta of Pixelmator Pro, the next version, and they've added some nice stuff with colour wheels to it. So I'll be having a look at that. But I think of Affinity Photo as mainly the workhorse. Between Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, I actually spend more time in Designer. And then if I need to edit pixel-based, I will switch over to Photo and then round trip it back to Designer. But a lot of my stuff is in Designer. Things like the posters that I do and stuff like that. Oh, that's right, isn't it, Graham? Graham's stuck on High Sierra. Can't do Mojave even if he wanted to, which is the problem I've got with that machine over there. I think yours is a 21-inch, isn't it, Graham? I've got a 27-inch iMac, and I think it's the same revision of yours. And it managed to download it all right, and then when it came to install it, it said no can do. Not helpful. So I, at that point, didn't bother. I was certainly not putting it on a production machine. So although I have access to a Mojave machine, I actually bought a laptop to play with it, which is excessive, isn't it? But it has enabled me to check stuff out that from my reading and understanding was that it didn't work. But I've not found anything that's catastrophic. I think mine's a 2011 as well. I've got one with a dodgy hard drive, so I'd have to put it on an external one, which it isn't exactly a showstopper. But I just haven't got around to that. My MacBook Air is a 2012, and I'm not sure with the MacBook Air if the cutoff is 2012. I have a 13-inch MacBook Pro that was my father's, so that won't take it. But that can't move from where it is. It's on Yosemite, and it can't move anywhere else because it powers the scanner. So I feel your pain, Graham. Would you move if you could? There's a question for you. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the Affinity Designer stuff. Need to do more on Affinity Designer. I've been pushing it a lot lately, but I've also been working with Affinity Publisher. And apart from a couple of quirks, it's very, very good. Sadly, one of the quirks was a showstopper for some of the work that I needed to do. Oh, Graham, you're fearless. You're fearless, dear boy. I would definitely put it on a test Mac. I'll go that far. Do you remember my 2009? Packed up, poor thing. Oh, that was a test bed for years. If I could, I think I probably would. But I have to be very careful about whether there will be any sort of hidden stuff that you just don't notice until it's too late. I thought this one didn't work with 32-bit apps, but I'm not now sure if that's not just a warning and it actually would do. I'm thinking what I haven't installed. I haven't installed my iTV program. So I haven't done that one on the new MacBook Air. But I have installed the one that concerned me, which was Keyboard Maestro. And that seems to be working fine. That did worry me, and it's fine. Do I know the release date for Affinity Publisher? No, I'm afraid I don't. All I can tell you is it's been in beta for 3 months today. Yeah, 3 months today. Normally their stuff isn't in beta that long. I think the last beta was just a few weeks. They made a promise that they would have it out in beta before the end of the year. And in the middle of the year, they then said before the end of August. They've not made any promises as to the final release date, though. And I think what could have happened was they expected to be further along than they actually are. And I think that's because they put in the extra effort to get the iPad version of Affinity Designer out. They are quite a small team. I mean, they do fantastic stuff considering how small they are. If you think about how many employees they have versus Adobe, they do amazing stuff. But, you know, obviously, if you're bringing something out for the iPad, then the desktop one's going to take a hit for a while. The good news is when it is finally out for Mac and Windows, for the desktop version, they've already confirmed that they're working on an iPad version of Affinity Publisher. Fantastic. And something digital asset management related. I'm loath to use the term Lightroom because people would get giddy, but digital asset management related. Oh, just imagine it was like Lightroom, only better. So that's where they're heading. We just don't know exactly dates for it. Do you know something I was thinking about with release dates? Scrivener. Now, Scrivener 3 has been out a year, but Scrivener 3 for Windows was supposed to be following at some point this year, which gives him precisely 31 days to get it out of the door. Not a biggie for me, but you did have a problem, didn't you?
Text was all.
No. Mike's got version 3 on his Mac, and I've got version 3 on my Mac. Bought it direct, didn't we? Because normally I think about the App Store, but no, I bought both. We bought it direct from them. But the Windows version, I had version 2 and Mike didn't. So he installed version
2.
Well, you must have had 2 then. No, you didn't. Oh, I don't know how it worked, but he put version 2 on his Surface and nothing worked. And it's because there's a version 3 beta out, but he hadn't installed that. So if you're on version 2, then you can use this version 3 beta for ages and ages and ages. But it would be nice if it was all out, because as soon as he gets the Windows one out, he can start adding stuff to the Mac one, which would please me no end. I'm thinking, well, I actually thought today, you know, they never release software on a Friday, and then Loopback came out. And I'm actually using Loopback right now. You've seen that in Audio Hijack. First day of release and out it goes. So Maybe it will be before Christmas. January's looking more likely, though, to be honest. Are you using the beta? There's a question for you. Are you using the beta? And if so, have you found any showstoppers? The showstopper for me was PDF links. There's no opportunity to put in anchor points and make links inside a PDF, which wouldn't have been catastrophic because I used Keynote for that, but for the fact Apple had broken Keynote, as Graham will be aware if you've heard the show. I was not pleased with that one. Luckily, a point update has fixed it, but it was 2 months before it was working, and what I was having to do was work around it with PDF Expert. Loopback is amazing. It's one of those things, it makes a very complicated job incredibly simple. And in conjunction with Audio Hijack, the stuff you can do with it is amazing. I remember a while back, I had a whole setup going on in Audio Hijack, and I was beta testing Loopback 1. There have been a couple of other things like Loopback. Somebody mentioned Soundflower, which was one thing, and that was free. It did work like Loopback, but it was only one pipe, whereas Loopback can be any number of pipes, and it can be in pipes and out pipes. So it's far better than that. But there was also Wiretap Studio, and what was the other one? No, I didn't use it for long, but there was another one that promised to do similar type of job. The only problem with it was it kept crashing the Mac. So that one didn't last me long at all. Wiretap Studio died a death with, I think it was Lion or Mountain Lion, and the company, which was Ambrosia, never got round to redoing it. Oh dear, that's getting upset now as well. I'll have to sort that out. See that coming out, 100 and odd gig. So Loopback came along at just the right time, and I was beta testing it, and I couldn't say anything about it, and I had this whole setup going on. And somebody that worked in training, which is what I do myself, came along and said that they'd just set themselves up and they'd got mixers and all sorts. You should have seen all this equipment. And my desk was completely clear. And it was like, well, you haven't got very good audio, have you? And I thought, my audio can do more than your audio can, but it's all virtual. And I would much rather it was virtual, because otherwise, if we're out on the road and we need to do some audio, it'll never be as good as it is in the studio, because that's where all the equipment is. But if you can take a mediocre microphone with you that you're not worried about losing, so, 50 quid microphone, and everything else happens virtually, you can get amazing audio quality, despite the fact that you've got adverse circumstances when you're recording it, and not what you would have at home, because actually you do have what you've got at home. I'm just thinking I've got a video on that, so I'm looking for an upload. Let me see if I can find this upload, and I can give you guys the link to watch this video on YouTube. It's an unlisted video, which is a promo for a course. Oh, where have you gone now? That one there. So let me get the link for that video. I'll probably start playing it now. If you just watch that video, it's 5 minutes. But there's a funny story involved in this video. Let's go back where we were so I can paste this in. It should take a YouTube video, shouldn't it? There we go. Right, not now, but if you watch that video later, you'll get an idea for what I'm talking about, that you can take the worst situation, and because all your audio is virtual, you can get fantastic audio out of it. And at the end of that video, there's actually a demonstration of what I recorded and then what came out the other end. So that's a good one to watch, yes. I did use Wiretap Studio, but I must admit I didn't use it for long, because I think I got it not long, about 6 months before the operating system changed and everything broke, which was unfortunate because it did leave me without the ability that I'd had previously, which was why the Studio Mac stayed on an old OS, which is where we're now at, isn't it, Graham? Both of us stuck with a High Sierra machine that we're longing for Mojave, and we're not going to do it. We're not. Have I heard of Videocast? Free download from the Mac App Store. I have, but I've not tried it. I kept meaning to try it, but I've not actually tried it. So I'll make a note of that myself and give that a go and come back with that. Now, for those who don't know, there was a new episode of the original, shall we say and best? No, we'll leave that out. The original MacBites today. So if you're not subscribed, go to macbites.co.uk and you'll find the show there. What do we talk about, Mike? I know it was only your Surface. Well, we've had enough of your Surface. My iPad.
I've had enough of your iPad.
My MacBook Pro had enough of that as well. Graham, what else did we talk about? What was the best bit, Graham? Oh, a new iMac next year. Are you going to go for the Pro and get the Space Grey, though, Graham? Not tempted by a Surface Studio at all? God, that is a nice piece of kit. I must admit, that is a nice piece of kit. And I was severely interested. But that was as far as it got, I'm afraid. It's a 28-inch screen on that. And it did feel much, much bigger. No, the Pro's a bit dear, isn't it? The Pro is a bit dear. I'll move this down so you can see all my stuff on the desk there. The Pro was announced in the summer last year, and Mike and I said, well, what are we going to do now? We're going to get an iMac now, or are we going to wait? And we decided that we'd... Oh, all right, calm down. It's going mental here. Go away. Oh, that's not stopping at all. Come on. My disk space is going mental. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know what I can do about that right at this moment, apart from nothing, really, right now. I can close that, and then that would come up. That might help. That'll sort that bit out, so at least it won't get any worse.
Oh,
right.
There was the shooting.
Yes, there was. You're quite right, Graham. There was the shooting. Yeah, we made the decision we'd buy in the summer and we'd see what the Pro one was like. But when I saw the price, out it went, out the window, I'm afraid. I am strictly Apple, but I do need to use Microsoft Publisher, so I have a VM. Mike needs advanced Excel. No, it's not you, Graham, it's me. It's me because I was recording the screen and we've been doing lots of video, so it's me, it's not you. But I started the day with nearly 200 gigs, so I've no idea where it's all gone. Right, so there's been a show today. There will be another show before Christmas. You heard it here first. And we will be back next Friday with more of our tech like this. All of this tech. So we want to hear from you. Okay, we want to hear from you. What do you want to see us do? Now, Curtis, if you want to see me demonstrate anything in Designer, tell me what. Tell me what you want to see. And I will do that. And if you've got anything that you'd like reviewed or something that you want to see behind the scenes, because tonight, of course, you saw behind the scenes of an actual edit. Oh, isn't that scary? Behind the scenes of an actual edit. That was interesting, actually. I think if I was listening to the show, I would be interested in that.
Try and work out where the edits are.
To try and work out where the edits are. Yes, you're quite right, Mike. Do you know, scarily, that's actually true. That's what I would have done. I would have wanted to know where the edits were. And there are a few edits. There are. Let's get rid of that and that'll get me some disk space back. You see, it's lying. I've got 30 odd gig free. It's lying to me. So watch that video, the one that I've put in there. I'll get the links and send them to you. If you think of anything that you would like me to demonstrate, let me know. How are we getting on with Notion? Or was it just a case of, oh no, and you ran away screaming? Let me know that as well. And if, like Evie, you've got any questions, send them to me. You can Twitter me, Facebook me, link in with me, whatever. Or you can send it back via the contact form. We sent our mail out today and we heard from McJim the Real. So we always love it when we send out a show and we hear back from you straight away. That's fantastic. So just keep shouting us out and we'll be back this time next week. So, same place?
Same time, same place.
Different stuff. Yeah. I'll make sure he locks his Surface away somewhere and we'll concentrate on all things Mac like these that we can tempt you with. I have got other stuff that I can tempt you with. I've got other stands and things that I got in the sale. So we'll share those next week. So last call for questions before we
go and get
something to eat. Graham, what have you had? What have you had?
Eccles came.
No, we had an Eccles cake last time. I'm going to have fresh fruit salad. What are you having?
Fresh fruit salad.
Oh, you see us, aren't we so good? We're both having fresh fruit salad. You know why, don't you?
We've got nothing else in.
We've got nothing else in, that's true. No, but on Sunday, what have we got planned?
Pig out.
So delicately put, Mike, so delicately put. We've got planned, not a full English, what do you call it? A roast beef dinner on Sunday. That's what we've got planned. Thank you, Curtis. It's always good to have you with us too. So last call for questions, and then we will head off to have our fruit salad. I think I'm going to be completely indulgent and have some nuts with it. Graham's had a Bakewell tart, but might well have another.
I know a few of those.
Now, you see, if you have the fruit first, then it's not unhealthy, is it? Isn't there a cherry on the top of a Bakewell tart?
Yes.
There is, isn't there? That's one of your 5 a day. So with that and a glass of wine, Graham, you're fine. That's incredibly healthy. Right, let's take you around my desk once more. Oh, how are we doing with the charging? Oh, it's still charging. It's still charging. Oh, Jane's having Ovaltine. I used to love that. I absolutely loved that. That is a balanced meal, Graham. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So don't forget, folks, questions this week. Enjoy the show if and when you listen to it. Graham, listen twice. You've got to admit the shooting was worth it. Including the penny I left you with. I'll explain next week what that penny was actually used for. It will not be what you think, I don't think. Okay, let's get this out of the way because that seems to be eating my disk space. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, I'll share the poster again while we say good night. So, we're out of the video, which is just as well because it's gone mental. Okay, right, we will see you good folks, as I say, this time next week, same time, same place, heading into Christmas, 7th of December. So we want to hear what you're planning to get for Christmas. And send us some questions. Send us some questions and send us ideas for what you want to see in the demo. So Curtis wants to see something Affinity Designer-ish, I'm assuming. I shall think of something suitably exciting in Affinity Designer. I was trying to make it do a mail merge, but I wasn't getting very far with that. But I've not given up. No, never give up. Or I could do something in Publisher. I have actually got something on the go in Publisher that will need to be done by this time next week because it's needed the day after. So I could show you that. So there you go. There's some things to be pondering about whilst you're listening to the latest MacBites, while we're preparing the next one. God, this sounds organised, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we are going to say goodnight, folks. So literally, seriously now, last call for questions. Oh, so you do, Curtis. You want something. Was that yes for designer or publisher? Type in designer or publisher and I'll pick one. And then I'll find something terribly sexy to do with it. With either. You're giving me that look again.
No.
I could show them how the chapter markers are made.
I was thinking.
You were thinking?
I was thinking.
Was that the pained look?
No. And you can follow me.
On Twitter?
On Twitter.
What about it?
It's the end of the show.
Oh, yes. Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't remember it all. Yeah, because then you'll have the
Follow me.
teeth. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Elaine Giles.
And you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Thomas Mike.
Whoa, he did it right. That's no good.
You can follow me on Twitter at
twitter.com/MacBites Siri. Siri's asleep. Leave him while
Siri
he's quiet.
doesn't exist.
He does.
It's a phone.
He absolutely does. He better exist in my phone. My phone's MacBites Siri. Good grief. Right, designer. Okay, designer it is, Curtis. I will find something suitably sexy and we will look at designer next week. iPad or Mac, there's something to ponder. Or I could do both. Let's get ambitious with my webcam. If I can free up some hard drive space. Right, what I'll... I don't know. What I'll do... Oh, I've got half a terabyte. Well, lucky for you. Shall I nick your Mac then?
Feel free.
Right, this time next week I shall have more hard drives, people. There you go. You can see me install hard drives. Okay, we are going to head off now and absolutely have something to eat, which will be the fruit salad. So, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
And we'll both see you next time.